I think the great thing that philosophy provides all of us with is asking very precise questions. And scientists often don't think too deeply about what they're doing, and they don't ask fundamental questions about what they're trying to understand. And of course, philosophy has been worrying about the nature of mind, how we think, what is thought, our relationship to the world, for thousands of years. So there's a very long tradition which many scientists do not know or they dismiss, which is extremely significant and helpful, I think, because it requires us to think very carefully about what we're doing. I think what science can provide philosophy with, and neuroscience in particular, is to ground some of the debates in clear, factual reality, and to bring back from quite abstract conceptions to very real ideas about, well, what does it mean to, say, experience something? So people experience things, but do flowers? Does an insect? And these are hard questions. Well, is the brain a computer metaphor has been incredibly powerful. So as a heuristic, as a way of driving forward research and of helping us to understand some things about what we do and what all animals do, I think it's been very, very useful. On the other hand, the brain clearly is not just a computer. It's not just a computer. It may carry out computational things. It may make computations, but I think there's a sense that the computational approach is becoming a limit to the development of neuroscience at the moment. It's a very complicated issue. I don't think we can just throw it out. It's very useful for the general public to understand what we think brains are doing, but computers are extremely stupid, and even the simplest animal brain is far, far more complex. So I think as a general approach, it has proved very powerful. I'm not convinced it will continue to do so forever. I think they are generally very crude, so they are not very precise. So I work on single cells. That is, I work on insects, and I can study the activity of a single cell that is responding to smells, for example. We don't have any consistent way of recording from the same cells in two individuals, or even necessarily in the same cell in the same individual at, say, a year's interval, because the human brain is so dense and so complex. So fMRI scans, which everybody has seen the brain lighting up, the resolution in those scans is so coarse because there are millions and millions of cells in each of the tiniest units of one of those scans, and the scan itself just says there's something happening. It doesn't say whether the neurons are activated or whether they're inhibited, their patterns of activity. So I think we have a problem of not having sufficient resolution to understand what is happening in the brain. But although we can record from single cells, those cells are not going to be the same in two individuals. The same place will not have a cell with the same function, because human brains are incredibly varied and also plastic. They are changing over time. I think there are two things that I'm concerned about. This doesn't relate directly to my research, but I think there are two things. One is the increasing use or possibility of implants, of putting things into people's brains. And there have been a number of studies of even benign implants that are simply designed to help people know when to use their anti-epilepsy medication, where when these implants have been taken out, people have had a profound loss of self and been very distressed. I think the idea of using implants to control people, which some military agencies want to do, I think is very disturbing. I'm also concerned about organoids. So these are the possibility to grow mini brains in the laboratory. And these bits of brain tissue will sometimes grow, for example, photoelectric cells. They will grow eyes virtually, and they will then link up with the rest of the parts of the tissue. And I worry. I don't know what consciousness is, but I worry that something might begin to emerge in one of these units, and I think we need to be very concerned about that.